An anxious dog can be a concern for many dog owners, and whilst we can't solve all the problems here today, we can perhaps look at some ways that we can treat this. Now, Robert, are there certain breeds, or is it what we do to dogs that makes them anxious?
Well, there is a genetic susceptibility to anxiety. So we've got the three things to consider. There's the genetics, the threshold, are we low anxiety or are we very resistant to anxiety?
Okay.
And then there's the learning that can go on. Have things produced anxiety beforehand?
Yes.
And then, of course, we've got to think about what's happening here and now. But I think the overriding thing to realise is that anxiety is actually natural. It's normal, and without it, we'd be dead. So, but what we're interested in, of course, is when it gets out of hand.
Yes.
Say with separation anxiety or dogs being aggressive to other unfamiliar dogs, that is, and or unfamiliar people. And in those cases, we think, well, this has just got to a stage where the welfare of the dog, maybe the person that it's attacking, or even the carer of the dog is at stake here.
And often we look at little breeds, like little Pippa here, who, I mean, she's pretty sturdy, but some of the smaller breeds and that can, you know, be left alone and they get quite anxious. Is that our fault?
Some breeds have a reputation for it, but what we've got to also understand is that within a breed, there's a huge amount of variation. In fact, there's good scientific evidence to show that a lot of the breed's so-called specific stuff is not true.
Okay.
No, they have a reputation for it.
Yes.
Maybe they're more likely to do it, but an individual member of the breed is not necessarily going to represent that breed standard.
It is such a big issue, obviously.
It's the big issue, I think.
It is. It concerns a lot of people, so we can't, as I said, you know, address it all here. But is there a role for toys, like keeping them mentally, I mean, particularly Pippa, you know, they like to keep their mind stimulated. How can toys, let's see how she goes with these, help? Like, I guess, you know, something like this, can we help keep
Well,
dogs occupied?
it's something which engages their mind and focuses their mind, of course. It's going to take their mind off the anxiety. And there's good evidence, for instance, in people, that if you're physically active,
Yes.
you feel more relaxed.
Absolutely.
And therefore, you're more resilient to the things that might cause you anxiety.
So a big thing, let me look, she's sort of interacting here now, there we go.
Yes.
And particularly with some of these breeds that, you know, are considered smarter and stuff, it's good to keep them stimulated, isn't it?
Well, some of them, of course, need a huge amount of stimulation. Like, well, take the Border Collie, for instance.
Yes.
As a dog with a reputation, you know, that they are driven, some of them. And without it, they get into all sorts of strife.
Yeah,
Well, embarrassing their owners and, and causing problems to cyclists and things.
Yeah, that's right. So these interactive toys are a great way of sort of addressing big or small dogs, really, aren't they?
Well, yes, within the 24-hour period, there's a place for the toys at home, say in the backyard, inside the house, but also getting out and checking out their environment. It's rather like getting on the web and Googling, you know, just seeing what's around.
So there are a few things that we can do to help our dogs that might be suffering from anxiety. If you'd like some further information about the topic, visit the Pooches at Play website. Thank you, Robert.
My pleasure. Thank you.